So this now game 3 of the 2018 men's sevens, and it's Zimbabwe, last year's runners-up, who will be looking to go one better this year. We heard Liam talk about the quality of the team that Zimbabwe brought to Tunisia this year, and they'll be up against Mauritius, who we saw in action in Lesotho on Kwese Sports last year. On that occasion, they didn't perform too well, but hopefully they would have improved since that encounter. And it will be Montochio to get us underway for this Mauritius side.
Okay.
You can't hear me on lazy.
Lazy? That's right.
So Zimbabwe secure the ball in their own 22. Nelson Mandela, they're taking the ball into contact. And we get, we see that the referee got a call from the assistant referee. Perhaps a dangerous tackle.
Yeah, already interesting that the assistant referee is giving his 2 cents worth. They really have been involved. You know, just watching the first 2 matches, the referees have had a big say, but that kick hasn't found touch, and this has given a chance for Mauritius to have an early dig at Zimbabwe.
Yeah, basic mistake there from Zimbabwe. And should have introduced you a little bit earlier, Kennedy Timber joining me in commentary, former Zimbabwe South African rugby player. Not too sure what to label you, but a star performer back in his day, playing for Bloemfontein for the Cheetahs, where he really made a name for himself. But it's been 2 good games so far for the Ugandans and for Kenya, Kennedy.
Yeah, it's been two good matches to start off this tournament, and you can just call me the African player. That's always a good sign. But it's been interesting looking at some of the comments that have been being made on YouTube, and would like to add on another topic. I think we'd like to name a commentator's playmaker of the day. I think would like to have the viewers' comments on that, and who are some of the players that really command their games. And I think we're obviously within the Zimbabwe team, we're going to have some key playmakers, but this player is one of the great stars that has graced the fields in this tournament so far.
Medina now gets his hands on the ball down this right-hand touchline. A nice pass on the inside to Chamala, and good offload again. It's to Chitakwendo, and it's Zimbabwe who will open the scoring. Excellent hands there by the Zimbabwean players, and we spoke about staying in support in the previous game, and Zimbabwe doing that extremely well, and they go over for the first points.
Yeah, right on mark. Chitungwino in for his first try. Always smiling. I hear that his nickname is Rubber. We're obviously going to dig into the bottom of that, but he's an excellent player. Has been playing for Zimbabwe for quite some time now. Made his debut, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago. But he's been an excellent player in good form. He had a great World Cup, and it's good to see him at this tournament.
Zimbabwe last won this competition in 2012, and before that they won it in the year 2000 last year, falling at that final hurdle, losing by 3 points to Uganda. But another basic error now coming from the Zimbabweans.
Yeah.
And it will be a free kick for Mauritius on the halfway line.
Always interesting that a right-footed kicker would kick to the right side of the field, and it's always easier to kick to the left side, but yeah, there's always tactics that are interesting as well.
And a strong work coming from Zimbabwe, and it's Connor Pritchard. Does he have enough speed to go over? Yes, he does. It will be try number 2 for the Zimbabwe Cheetahs.
Oh, that's an excellent try by Pritchard. So much strength. And is looking quite fresh for a young man that has traveled quite a long trip to get here. Always good to see him in the Zimbabwean colors. Always gives good effort. Been a wonderful player, good servant for the team. Will they add the extra 2? His first kick was a gem, but just wasn't able to follow up. That just drifted to the left-hand side. But great strength here by Connor Pritchard as he busted through the middle to get his first try of the tournament, being able to lead Zimbabwe to 12 points to 0 here.
Oh, and another shocker from the restart. Zimbabwe might be able to afford to do this against Mauritius, but tomorrow they won't be able to make mistakes like that. Teams like Kenya and Uganda will really make you pay for elementary mistakes.
Again, a little bit of crossing there. The player running behind the block runner. The ref should have picked it up, but he goes and gives Mauritius a penalty for a contestant at the ruck. Quite interesting that the Mauritians have got 3 or 4 under 18 players playing here, so they've obviously looking to do a lot of development for the future, and they deem that in 4 years' time they're going to have a team that really competes here if these youngsters are able to get experience with the ball just drifting forward. In fact, didn't just drift, it actually went quite a few meters ahead. But just interesting just to see the Zimbabweans a little, jaded, some of their body language. I think they weren't able to meet as early as they wanted to, because obviously players are coming from all over the world, and you've got to try and meet a bit earlier to try and get that fitness component mixed in before you start working on your tactics.
It's also a long trip up here from the south of Africa to the north. Most of the flights going via either Dubai or Doha, so it turns into about a 20-hour day of travel, which Zimbabwe did on Wednesday, arriving on Thursday. But perhaps they just need to get rid of the cobwebs, and as the tournament progresses, we certainly will see a stronger Zimbabwe side. They try to go for the little chip kick, and he gets the bounce, does Chitakwendo, but the referee bringing them back for the penalty that I think the player who kicked the ball was infringed on, and of course then the penalty is taken from where the ball landed. So it's Mugariri who looks like he might opt to go for touch. Interesting decision in the game of sevens.
Especially when your first kick didn't find touch. I think luckily you found the second opportunity to find touch. As we can see, just a little breeze there. That obviously helped the ball to get towards touch. But they should be looking to get a set phase play here. And of course, I think their speedster that's outside wide is the main target for whatever play they're going to look to formulate here.
Tamala taps the ball back and it lands in the hands of the Zimbabweans. Brought to ground just short was Nelson Mandida. Now it's Mugariri, gets a pass away to Kamadiro and then away to Chitakwendo. And good stepping from Chitakwendo, and a good way for Zimbabwe to go into the halftime break as they add another 5-pointer. A little bit of a tougher conversion attempt again for Zimbabwe, but at this stage they're doing it in tries.
Oh, he's got slick footwork, doesn't he? And always a smile. That always shows that a player is confident and enjoying himself.
Yeah, so Zimbabwe with a 17-0 advantage over Mauritius at halftime.
Coach Gilbert Nyamtsamba has made 1 or 2 changes to the team. As we can see, he's brought on Stephen Hunduza, who will be kicking off. Hopefully he won't follow up what the previous kicker was doing, and just being able to make sure that the kick is 10. But I think it's a good tactic just to keep all the players fresh, because you just don't know who you're going to need in these final tighter matches that are going to be played later on today, following on tomorrow.
So Stephen Hunduza gets us underway in the second half of this third game, and that's an excellent placed kick as Connor Pritchard takes it and he wins the ball back for the Zimbabwean side. Toying with the defense, there's Kumadira, and he makes his way through the defense as well, and that's good speed being shown It will be Takadzwa Kumadiro who goes over for the first points of the second half, and Zimbabwe finding their comfort zone here in Tunisia.
Oh, that is a well-worked try. Plenty of pace and power and determination. And I like the look and the intensity of this Zimbabwean team right now. You know, rather different from their start in 2017. They're showing lots of intensity and really attacking the Mauritius defense. As the 2 points are added on, the score is 24-0. Zimbabwe leading comfortably here. I think the ideal kickoff that Hunduza kicked just previously would be ideal, as Pritchard has recovered these kicks quite easily.
Again, it's secured by this Zimbabwean side, and they immediately find themselves back into the 22 of Tunisia.
No.
But now turned over, or rather the penalty has been awarded to Mauritius. Can they find a way out of their own 22 by trying to run the ball out as Motochio changes direction? Good hands there into the hands of Quinton Knoll. And then a simple knock-on from Janovic Bucks. One of the, or rather, in fact, it was Ragu, also one of the players that we did see in Lesotho last year. Yeah. And even then, the Mauritius team was building their team, looking to become a good side on the African continent. But based on this performance, still have a few years to go to where until they can start competing.
Yeah, they're still very young. A lot of young players that are struggling, limping off, as you can see, with little knee injuries here and there, as their coach is making wholesale changes here. But Zimbabwe are going to look to attack and try to get the ball out wide. A new gas man has come on, and he's obviously going to show his speed.
Nduza now changing direction again, throws the dummy, and he gets through the first tackler, eventually brought to ground by Rob Dare. But still Zimbabwe remain on the attack. Picked up at the back by Ndlela. Into the hands of Nelson Mandela. Now it comes to this near side to Katswere, and he pins his ears down and he goes for the corner and he gets over the try line. And another try for Zimbabwe.
Clever play and trying to make sure that the ball moves from right to left. With crisp passing, it always gives your speedster out wide enough time just to get on the outside. And that's what he did. Nduza's going to look to try add the extra 2. Oh, that just fades to the right. In fact, it didn't just fade, it
a bit of a slice.
Yeah, sliced it all the way. It reminds me of one of the commentators that sliced his kick in our Zambian tournament. We shan't mention any names.
Well, all I can say is it wasn't me or Liam Middleton, because we both slotted ours.
There's another gentleman called Zam. The refs are being really tight on the calls at the breakdown area. If there's no release of a player, the whistle gets blown so quickly.
Good defense by Zimbabwe, holding that ball up. And eventually the player goes to ground, so Zimbabwe have to release. And Mauritius with an opportunity down this right-hand side, as there's a few good steps from Quinton Knoll, and he gets the pass away as well, but it has gone forward. And so it will be a scrum for Zimbabwe. But already in this tournament, we've seen Kenya with a strong victory, Uganda with a good win as well, and now Zimbabwe with a strong performance. And those were probably 3 of the top teams that we predicted would perhaps be in the semi-finals tomorrow. But still a long way to go. Coming up next there will be an encounter between Madagascar and Namibia, and you can never really rule out Namibia. Their 15th team are very, very strong. Their 7s not always able to live up to those standards, but they do still have a few quality players. And then, of course, we haven't even seen Zambia, who really have improved a lot over the last 2 years, and they'll also be looking to make their way into the semi-finals.
Yeah, the ref is blowing for an early shove. Always puzzles me within the game of 7s why you would want to give an earlier shove, because the ball always gets dislodged or something goes wrong. But anyway, the Mauritians are trying to retain a bit of ball and get ball in hand, trying to attack the blind side. And another high tackle as a penalty advantage is given by the referee. I'm a bit concerned about the amount of calls, the referee calls that they are. I mean, rather pedantic in my eyes. You want to see the game flow, especially understanding Mauritius. They're still a developing nation. You know, you've got to try and give them any sort of advantage that they need.
Oh, cross kick, and it works. Can this be an opportunity for Mauritius as Quinton Knoll gets the pass away on the inside, but it's passed it to nobody. He eventually manages to boot the ball downfield again. I think there might have been a shove on Steven Nduza before he actually had his hands on the ball, but Nduza now looking for support. Eventually he finds it on his outside. And this is where Zimbabwe can also be very, very dangerous on the counter attack. And it looks like it will be Zimbabwe. Oh, now they need to find support.
Oh. Great chase down.
And eventually it comes to Kumadiro. Does he have enough speed to go around on the outside? A strong handoff coming from Takatsua Kumadiro. And it will be Zimbabwe who will go over for the final score of this game. And Zimbabwe laying down a marker with this performance.
Yeah, comprehensive victory. I think it's just cleaned out some of the tired-looking Zimbabweans that have always had to travel quite far. But I think this was a good run out for them, especially what's laying in front of them in today's play. Again, the kick just drifted to the right-hand side. I think if I was Stavo, as they would call him, start my kick on the left-hand side and just let it drift on. But it was still a good start and a good opener for Zimbabwe. The score 34-0. Mauritius and their young lads have got been given a rude awakening to start off their tournament here.